In this problem, we're going to be analyzing variable manufacturing overhead variances. So we will be finding two kinds of variances, the spending variance and the efficiency variance. So Company B has provided us with some information about their sales volume, their direct labor hours worked, their total cost of variable overhead, their variable overhead standard rate, and their standard direct labor hours. So this information is what we're going to need to find these formulas. So again, we have a nice little chart to kind of describe what types of formulas we're going to need. So we're going to be comparing the actual variable overhead costs with the actual hours at standard rate, and then comparing the actual hours at the standard rate with the standard variable overhead costs using the flexible budget. So to find this first type of variance, the spending variance, we're going to take the actual variable overhead cost, which is this $100,000. No formula needed for that one. And then this one, we're going to have the actual hours at standard rate, which is equal to AH. And over here we have our abbreviations, and AH is equal to the actual hours of direct labor times SR, the standard variable overhead manufacturing overhead rate per direct labor hour. So we're going to be taking AH, which is this 18,900 hours, times the $5 per direct labor hour to find the actual hours at standard rate. So when we compare the actual hours at standard rate and the actual variable overhead costs, that's how we find if we have a favorable or unfavorable variable overhead spending variance. So here we found out that we have a 5,500 unfavorable variable overhead spending variance. So that's part one, and to find the next variance, the efficiency, we're going to use that same formula we just found, the actual hours at standard rate, and we're going to compare that to the standard variable overhead costs using the flexible budget. So to find that, we need to find SH, which is the standard hours of direct labor for actual level of activity. So we're going to take this 0.10 per unit times the sales volume to find SH. And here's kind of a nice little description of how we actually use that. And we're going to take that times the 5 hours per hour, which is SR, which we have used before. So it's this $5 per direct labor hour. And then when we compare the actual hours at standard rate with the standard variable overhead costs using the flexible budget, that's how we find our efficiency variance, if it's favorable or unfavorable. So here below, we have a little more explanation of the answers, of just showing what we used, the numbers we used, the subtraction, and then also kind of explaining what each of those answers mean. So hopefully this helps.